Let's do this. G'day, Stu from UAVFutures. Welcome back to Happy Flying. This is our weekly live stream, episode number 41, which is kind of crazy. That's almost a full year, but here we are. Let's go through a couple of quick little housekeeping things first. Let's check this audio, check the stream, all that sort of stuff before we jump in, talk all things FPV, hang out, have a good time, and just be part of the community. So if you're in the chat, someone who can hear this, please let me know. What's the sound like? Is there any buffering? Because the weather, I don't know if you can see it at the back. Maybe there's a couple of these raindrops. You can sort of see it has been absolutely teeming down. So pretty wild out there. Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit crazy. Let me know, though, what it sounds like. That would really help me out. I can see Johnny DRC. I want to give a shout out to him. Say happy Mother's Day, brother. I know he was going to make some dinner for his wife right there, I believe, hanging out with his kids as well. Every day, I can see some members as well. So Spruny and Everyday with Bruno. Shout out to those guys. Thank you so much for being a supporter of the channel. And it always feels a little bit weird. I'm like literally sitting here in silence, waiting for that timer to tick down, looking at it, making sure everything is checked. And then, it's like, okay, I'm just going to be rambling to myself. So it's kind of interesting. But let me tell you what is coming up in the stream today. If you've just joined us or you've been here for a long time, we talk a little bit about mental health. I want you guys to know that you are special, you are special, you are valued, and you are cared about. And we're also going to be talking a whole bunch about what's been going down in the FPV world. So we're going to be talking a little bit about a VTOL, which I have behind me, actually, which I'm pretty excited about. I don't know, can you hear that rain? Like it's absolutely bucketing down outside. We're going to be talking about Caddx as well, because Caddx we've got good news and bad news coming in from Caddx. We're going to be talking about some secondhand stuff as well. A little bit about sorry, I got distracted. A little bit about backwards compatibility. So we're going to be talking about Caddx and HD0 and also DJI, and looking towards the future and like why some things backwards compatible and why some others aren't. We're going to be talking about like the best KV for your motors and your builds. We're going to be talking about flying with some other people as well. And then I've got some questions that I can't believe I'm going to have to like answer or make a video on that just seem like complete common sense, but we're going to try and help some people out anyway. Other Wicked Drums is saying audio is good, viewfinder inactive. Yes, that is there because like the only way I can remove that viewfinder inactive is either buy a much more expensive camera or I need to hack the firmware on this camera that you're looking at right now. And I don't really want to do that. I don't mind mucking around with my drone software, but I need this camera to work correctly. I do one live stream video per week versus all the other filming that I do. Like this is my main filming camera that I take downstairs into the studio. And I don't really want anything to go wrong with it because I haven't looked into it, but I imagine when it comes to flashing like camera products that there is not such a large market like there is with drones. With the drones, we like to, it's like open source. We like to do a lot of it ourselves. We have lots and lots of handy people that can let us get things done. I feel like when I look at the solutions for just like trying to get a camera or a recording device working, a lot of them are like, hey, you need to buy this, or you need to buy this proper cable, or you should never use things that aren't the correct batteries, or even the little clips that they recommend to put on cameras. I often see on the forums, people are like suggesting just get specific ones. So like specific first brand, first party ones. So I don't know if it'd be as open source and homebrew as our drones. So that's why you see viewfinder inactive. Anyway, let's kick it off. Just a quick check-in, and then we're going to go through with our first topic right here. Jacobs is saying right on time. We need a view. Yeah, we do need a meme about viewfinder inactive. That would actually, I would really appreciate that if someone can get in on that meme. Happy Fly RC just came in from flying the Flywoo Flyby. It's fun and tiny. Other people asking about the Caddx leaks as well, and Wicked Drums just bought a Grind Arena 3.5-inch frame so I can finally build my own, and I just got a new soldering iron. He is ready. Well, congratulations. It has never been a better time than ever. And someone saying I would take a sticker for my goggles. All right, we're gonna have to see if we can get one out to you, Spruny. We do have some DIYFPV stickers. They're just in Europe at the moment, so maybe if you could send me a message on DIYFPV, we'll see what we can organize. But first things first, I would like to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you who is here. And if you are not feeling correct or you're not feeling right, I want to say, please don't feel like you have to be alone or anything like that. It's not weak to speak. If you are suffering and you feel like your mental health is not correct, I've been there in the past. Thankfully, it's better now. But I just want to let you know that like please talk about it. Be open about it. You can reach out to me. We have an amazing FPV community as well down below, and go and see a professional as well. I cannot stress that enough. FPV is an amazing hobby that changes people's lives, and that is something that like I am forever grateful for. And that's why we do this, so we can change other people's lives as well, share the joys of FPV, change their life. And the other part that goes hand in hand with that, I really believe, is like talking about it, being open about it, and getting some help as well. So please don't feel like it's weak to speak. You don't have to suffer by yourself. And I also want to make it very clear that you are valued and you are cared about, you are special and you are unique. And I truly am glad that you are here. So just want to put that out there before we start the stream. All right. Let's do it. The first thing I want to show you actually is this right here. So this turned up in one of the largest boxes we've had in quite a while. And let me jump over here. Hopefully my computer doesn't freeze. So this is from the same guys who do the Edge T3 or Edge. I think it's the T, whatever, like this system right here. So we have the Edge VTX in this little bad boy right here. However, this was like, I got an email about this as well. And I was like, sure, this looks pretty fun to check out. But check it out in the flesh. I have it. It's massive. Look at this. So I literally just opened this about 10 minutes before the stream. Let me click here. And this is not my typical sort of drone, because this is a VTOL, which means it's like a bit of a cross between a wing and also a drone. So what we've got right here, man, this is quite difficult to show on stream actually. So where are we? We're going to be building this sometime in the future. You're going to be seeing a video on it, but I haven't taken it out yet. I was sort of waiting for you guys. Someone's saying, good Lord, that looks like a beast. Yeah, it's, so I think it looks pretty simple to go together though. Let's have a look here. Some pretty chunky motors though. Like, what do we got here? 2310s, 900 kV, so quite a low kV, but a pretty decent prop on here. I don't want to break anything. Not in terms of the VTOL. I don't want to just smash it into my monitor though. And then, okay. All right, this much larger than I am used to. Let's simply click these in the side so we can get a bit of an idea of how it is. Oh, they're gonna just, okay. Well, I do like something straight away. Wonder if these can get around the, oh, they're even marked that they go around the correct way. So they're only going to slide in one way. Imagine if this was like it for building it. There's one. This is way bigger than I was expecting. And does anyone have any experience with VTOLs as well? If you've got any tips, please let me know. Get this part in first. Why is that not clipping down? Okay. Look at this bad boy. So... Now I'm going to have to do a lot of learning on just how to set this up and finding out like what channels and things that they run on. Now we're going to be putting also the Edge T3 in the front here, which is kind of what I feel like it's made for. This is hard to explain, but yeah, I like people's comments. This looks interesting. What's it like on the internals? Oh, it comes with a Lipo. I was not expecting that. We have this is a 4,400 milliamp hour, like a 18650 sort of pack or lithium ion, all strapped together. This is where it's going to get tricky because I don't actually know what, does it come with, it must come with like a flight controller, right? Or do I have to build it? Surely in the back here. Okay, I think I'm going to have to take this apart because it does have a GPS and that sort of stuff. But yeah, all in all, I just want to give you a quick little demo that I'm pretty excited. The way that this is going to work, so this is something that I think will be really cool. You simply sit it on the ground. It is going to like hover itself like a drone. And then when you flick a switch, these propellers and motors are going to angle down, and then you're going to fly it like a standard plane. That's the plan anyway. I've never flown one of these before. I've flown drones, I've flown wings, I've flown tricopters, I think, like a long, long time ago. I've flown some tilt quads, but never a VTOL aircraft. So I don't know, I'm pretty excited. Now, I want to know too, why is that going all the way down? Why is that bouncing back versus this one's completely flat? Is this getting stuck on something? Anyway, so this is something that I'm pretty excited to test. The ZMO, this is the V2. So stay tuned. This is going to be coming up on the channel in just a little bit, once the weather's a little bit better as well. And hopefully I can get some nice chase footage. And I'm really interested actually to see what are the flight times, like how efficient is this versus a standard wing, or what are the advantages that you're getting from this versus, say, a different aircraft. It is super light, and it feels lighter than my TBS Mojito wing, which is still in pieces downstairs, which we need to finish as well. If anyone's ever flown one of them, please let me know. Oh, is it 4S or 6S? It's 6S, of course. So this is a big 6S pack. Yeah, 4,400 milliamps. This is the battery right there. I don't know. We'll see how long this goes. Sorry about that audio slap right there. It looks interesting. I have to say, do they have any instructions on here? Let's see, pre-orders, buy and fly versions. What software is it actually using? And what goggles are they? Does anyone know what goggles they're here, or have they just taken a pair of ski goggles? One touch return. Oh, okay, 150 Ks. We don't need the premium version. Tell me what software we're actually using. Yep, we know about this. It's a pretty cool picture, actually, wherever this landscape is. Happy Flyer RC is saying, a couple of buddies I flew with yesterday had a VTOL. One had a custom Zod HD Talon, and the other a 3D printed Titan, I think it's called. They are sweet. Programming a smooth transition is key. Looks like some Apple Vision goggles or something. I couldn't imagine flying FPV in those. Latency would be really bad. The thing about this as well, we are going to be using, because we're using the Edge T3 system, this does have like 60 milliseconds of latency. The video, it's a bit hit and miss, but I think out of all the use cases, they've actually packaged it quite well. It's not going to be as like low response as HD0, and it definitely handles breakup, I think, a lot worse than DJI, but at this long range, I'm kind of pretty excited about. Where is, surely there has to be, sorry, I'm just going to scroll here because, is this what it comes with? Built-in flight controller, okay. And surely it must take Edge TS, Edge TX. All right, where is the software to connect with this, please? All right, that's probably going to have to be an email. If anyone knows what sort of software they were flying, is it just going to be iNav? Like, I'm not sure. And I haven't had the greatest success with iNav in the past as well. So I don't know. That's going to be coming up on the channel. I'm pretty excited. It's just going to be something different. I've flown thousands of drones. This is going to be the first real VTOL that we're going to be putting up in the air. Get some chase footage, see how it goes, and to find out, is it good for you? Should you get this? Is this something you're interested in? Or for most pilots, which I probably suspect is going to be the case, they just want to go rip around in the park with their buddies and smash their drones. This is not something that you want to smash for, considering it's like $700 US or something like that. So pretty expensive, but not crazy if I look at like everything that it's got in there. So I don't know. you could use Control F on that search page and type in software. That is also a good idea. If I was a bit more switched on and not Australian, I definitely would do that. All right. The next thing I want to talk about actually is some new stuff from Caddx. Now, this is where it's going to get exciting. I know a lot of people have been losing their minds. Like, we've been waiting for Caddx leaks for so long, and this came out the other day on their Facebook page. So let me jump over here and show you this. And we have good news and also bad news. So this says this, like, Caddx, gaze at the amaze. I think that's one of the worst slogans that I've ever heard. It reminds me of like this 90s Australian TV show that we'd all watch after school called Amazing. And they ran through a maze. but yeah, this right here, it's a bit of an interesting looking unit. I do have to say, it looks very clean. It looks very refined, but we might have some bad news when we have two right here, further your sight, because it looks like digital, right? That's what you would think looking at this. Caddx, we all know that they're like doing their walk snail systems, which is digital, but it doesn't say walk snail anywhere on here. It just says Caddx. And then I found a comment, like if we have a look at a couple of the comments on this, it says like, is this analog? And let me show you this. I took a screenshot somewhere in case it disappeared. Right here. Here's the screenshot. So someone's saying, hi, these two are more compatible with the analog systems. The Ascent will come out later. And then we have a reply here at the end of May. So does that mean that gives us a little bit of information? We're reading between the lines. And I know that the release of the Amaze system, it says it's in like 2 days' time. I don't have any details on this. I have not heard a peep from Caddx since like the start of the year or anything like that, except when I got a really random email saying, hey, stay tuned, we're going to have some stuff coming. I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen anything. Now, what does this tell me? The Ascent will come out later, hopefully this month, so not too long to wait. I cannot wait for some more. I just want to know more about Caddx Digital, what's going to be happening. But does that mean that, if I jump back here, well, no, I just lost it. Does that mean that this is just an analog camera? And if that is, there's a bit of speculation on what this is for. So I think maybe this is not really going to be suited to most pilots in the hobby, because from what I could tell and reading all the comments and that sort of stuff, if these are analog systems, they're going to be low light. So some really, really low light, which might be this one right here. If you look at the background, this is just my guess, or I'm not too sure what's going to be happening with it. It almost looks like a digital system though. And by saying these ones will mostly be aimed at our analog systems, I don't know what, like it's either analog or it's not. Is there something in between? I'm not too sure. And also they're talking about having some optical zooms or something in there as well. So maybe one of these two cameras can do something a little bit sneaky. You can zoom a little bit further. This is not going to be for us everyday FPV pilots. So if you think about the places in the world that are wanting, like maybe you want some low light conditions that you want to be able to see really, really far as well, they're not usually the types of people, they're not sort of the things that we're doing around in the park, just flying around for fun. So I think Caddx right here, focusing on these two systems, unfortunately for the Amaze system, this is not going to be for us, or at least that is my prediction. Again, I know nothing about it. I haven't been sent any of these units. I haven't heard a single peep. Someone's saying it better be just really, really good analog. I mean, that would be nice. And I'm all for advancements for our hobby in terms of things we can do, having a bit of fun. But yeah, don't get your hopes up, I believe, at these two Amaze systems. They're going to be low light from what I can tell, and also having a bit of some zoom functionality as well, which to be honest is pretty useless for my style of flying. Maybe, are you one of the people out there that that's going to be useful for? For me, I'm never going to use that. Low light would be cool, but if it's analog, I'm going to prefer to stick to digital anyway and cruise around. Like I'll just happily fly a couple of hours. I never fly at night. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's going to be different, but I can see there's definitely a market there, whereas war doesn't stop, and people will be buying these, unfortunately. Now, the other one, the Ascent, or whatever it was called, that says it's coming out later in May, that does look like a digital walk snail system, or at least I think that's what it said right here. Let's have a look. We scroll down. This comment right here. These two are more compatible with the analog systems. Ascent will come out later. What later when? End of May. So I haven't heard anything about this Ascent system either. But that's not too long. That's not too long to wait. Like we might be hearing about that sort of stuff in 3 weeks time, according to this little post. Now, I don't know. Now, the other part as well, does that mean that it's going to be compatible with, say, a set of goggles like these? Because Caddx is in a bit of hot water because they sold these goggles to us. They said, hey, these will be compatible. You will be able to upgrade these. You know, if we release some new technology in the future that's not compatible, you're going to be able to switch out the receiver unit inside your Goggles X. I'm a big believer. Like I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. People want that. The screens work well. Why should we have to change the receiver? And that probably brings me on to the next part as well. When we talk about backwards compatibility, and Caddx is going to cop an awful lot of flack if they release a completely brand new video system. Like, let me know how you guys will feel. And then on the flip side of that, it's Caddx has probably shot themselves in the foot here. And I'm going to read your super chat in just a little bit. Shoot FPV. Oh, well, actually, I'll read it right now. He's saying, Stu, you legend. Thank you so much. You, sir, are a legend as well. So thank you for supporting the channel. It really does make a difference. It lets me do this content for you guys. It lets me help doing DIY FPV. It lets me make these educational videos to get people flying and just share this positive message of FPV. So you, sir, are helping make that happen. So thank you so much. But what I was saying, Caddx has shot themselves in the foot a little bit because they made such a big deal about like future-proofing the Goggles X that they have to now come to the party and let that happen. They have to bring that, or else people are going to be quite upset at that. That's why a lot of people liked that system. That might be why they jumped in. First, on the flip side, I know I saw like HD0 and on MadTech stream was talking about maybe a new HD0 system in the future that just cannot be compatible with past systems. And then, well, that's one thing that's not going to be compatible in the future, but they're not going to be in so much trouble because I didn't say that. And it's the same with DJI. Like if I look at my DJI goggles, these right here, these don't even work at the moment with my last Air units. So these are the N3s. They're not going to work with the DJI O3 Air units as it currently stands. So it's not a problem unique to Caddx when we talk about backwards compatibility, but Caddx has definitely shot themselves in the foot by talking about future-proofing their products for the future. So I just would like to remind people of that all these companies, they are all making products that go obsolete, but Caddx has done some poor marketing, or they better come to the market. It's sort of like a chance for them to say, yes, we're gonna stick to our promise and do a really, really good choice here for you consumers, for the people who believed in the Goggles X. Or if they don't do that, well, they're going to lose a lot of respect in the community. They had a lot of people sort of behind them and standing for what they wanted to do, but through some no fault but their own, it looks like they haven't made the best choices there in terms of promising and delivering to the consumer. But we don't know too. Like I don't know what's going on there. I don't really have any contacts there besides like their official emails that they send and that sort of stuff. And maybe we're not their priority when it comes to the market. Like if you look at this camera right here, the Amaze, well, yeah, maybe this is where the money is. So that's what they're deciding to focus on. More compatible means use analog FPV goggles. Yeah, I don't know what they mean by like more compatible. Like, unless I'm purely speculating here, unless there is some way that this camera can be used on an analog system and like an analog VTX, and you can get some functionality out of a digital side of things, I don't know. Because we also can't see their little, where's like the UHFL connector or something like that. That's what I would like to see. All right, let's have a look here. Just looking at the time. The next thing that I want to talk about, this is actually some pretty good news, something I'm excited about. So let me know. I'm sure a lot of you people might have seen my latest video. We just launched listings on DIYFPV, and there's probably never been a more important time with like the tariffs and stuff like that as well. If you don't know what listings are, check this out. I'm going to jump over here to DIYFPV, and this is sort of the importance of secondhand selling as well. So if we go over to the catalog, I had a look here just this morning before I jumped on. I was pretty excited. Now we can also sort, look at this, we've got some private sellers. And we're just talking about Caddx actually. So say you want to buy a pair of these goggles, look, they're about $210 and that sort of stuff. And now if you're shipping these into the United States, well, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. I don't know what the tariffs are up to at the moment. It seems to really fluctuate, but I really feel like for the USA viewers out there, this is for you guys. You have a real chance to help each other with, like, just, you might have some gear that you don't need, that you want to pass on, or maybe you want to do a bit of an upgrade. Don't let it just sit in your cupboard gathering dust until it's obsolete. Pass it on, help some people with that. And like if I look down here, if you scroll down the bottom on DIYFPV, we've got some private sellers here as well. Now the price is obviously going to be the big one. These are like 300 Australian dollars, which I think is a little bit wild when you can sort of get them for a little bit, like, not that much more expensive. Even though these might be brand new, it's very hard to sell secondhand gear for a lot of money. But the option is here on DIYFPV. So it doesn't cost anything to list anything. It doesn't cost anything to message anybody. And that's sort of the exciting part too. Like you can see here, if I wanted to buy this, check this out. I can view the listing and you can send them a message and you can figure it out like in your own terms and that sort of stuff. Like, hey, I'd like to get this or whatever it's going to be. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty hopeful for the future. And if you're the sort of people that is in a market or a situation where things are very expensive from the shop, and a lot of those times those shops, and I'm not putting any blame on shops, like if those tariffs, I saw a video from Zoe FPV where she said she might have to be closing down. She's not too sure what she can do in the future because it is just completely unpredictable for her to be able to sell those products with those taxes and that sort of stuff. So this is like something that me and the DIYFPV team have done just to give people another option to get into the hobby. Yeah, you might not get that brand new, expensive, super duper product that you wanted, but there is more options are always better. And it is always better to have those choices than not to have them as well. So if you have seen DIYFPV and you might have noticed, the way you do it is pretty easy as well. I do want to clarify some things though, is you just find the thing that you're looking for. So let's say you have, here we go, one of these radios, a GX12, you find that product, then you click create a listing, and then underneath you will find there will be a listing for you under private sellers. So super easy. Something I saw some people doing though, they're just clicking this, making a listing, but they might be selling like a set of Fat Shark goggles here. If you made a listing on this page, it's going to go directly underneath Radiomaster GX12. Now this is early days. We're going to have to change that, or I'll find some ways to maybe streamline that process. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to see. I wonder if anybody actually has some secondhand radios for sale on here. All right, someone is putting up their, here we go. This person, it looks like Aussies are really rising up here. So here we go. This is great. Like, here we go. Here's a $30 radio. Perfect. I like it. I like it. So if you wanted to find that, there it is, especially when they're out of stock all over the world as well. So super, super cool things there. All right. I'm just going to catch up on chat. If there's one thing too that you would like to know, or if you've got any suggestions on how to improve that listing site on DIYFPV, please let me know. Put it in chat now or send that. Someone's saying trying to fly down under. That's mine, Stu. Are you talking about the goggles? I've got some advice here. So seeing you're here, I want to say thank you for putting that listing up. That's this goggle. Here is this you? No? Please, if this is your listing that we're just talking about, so down under, I can tell they're in Australia right here, so I'm hoping that this is you. This price right here, $300, even though, oh, the controller. Okay, well, the controller's great. I'm going to say good work. I really like that you put that up there. But here's my advice for this person. $300 when you can, if I go to phaser right here, and we have like, okay, you're saving about $80 if you're going to buy these direct from phaser. But when it is a brand new high-end expensive product, a lot of people like the peace of mind that if something goes wrong, they at least have a point of reference to contact it. Buying secondhand, it really does depreciate quite quickly. So that's my advice. If you are somebody out there who's selling something half price, I feel like is where both sides are going to be happy. It's going to be good for you to sell it, and it's also going to be good for users to buy it as well. The closer you get to like retail price, I don't know. You let me know in the chat. Would you buy this secondhand for 300, or would you spend an extra 20% and or 15%, whatever it is, and buy it for $378? Let me know in the chat. 300. Would you buy secondhand for 300, or would you buy this brand new for 380? I don't know. That's because then you still got to figure out shipping as well and things like that. And then also, you have to remember that you are guaranteed to get this item when you're shipping from Phaser, or at least like any reputable site online. If you're jumping over here and you're contacting a private seller, you will notice like right here, we are not responsible for any products sold through this platform. So a lot of people talk about, hey, how can you prove and not get scammed on DIYFPV? This is where the onus really needs. There is no perfect solution to do that. This option really is here. I would say my recommendation is to use the PayPal method, which is like for goods and services where you get some buyer protection because you are using PayPal. Don't use friends and family or anything like that. That's not recommended, because then you have no recourse to get your funds back if something goes wrong. So that's my little recommendation there as well. And of course, probably the best way to make sure that you're not going to get scammed is you can see which country they're from, and then you can contact those people. Maybe because we have the map, you can also see exactly where all pilots are as well. So you might be able to go for a bit of a drive or something like that, maybe if they're only 20 minutes away or something. So especially if you're living in the States, yeah. Happy Flyer RC, don't be a price gouger on used gear. Now, I guess my advice right here, I saw one which is not going to sell, which was, if I go to analog goggles, used gear, like this goggle here, you can't even get these anymore, but we've got $160. Now, this is another Australian who's put this up. It's not terrible. Oh, does it come with some other things as well? Oh, okay. I take this back a little bit. Like, we've got a rapid fire module, some decent antennas. I would like more pictures there as well. Yeah. Oh, 250. Okay, sorry. I read 160 because I forgot it's taken into account it's 150 USD, which I haven't. $250. That's kind of getting close to some of those other ones going to digital options as well. But you do get a decent receiver here. Bit of an old goggle though as well, the Fat Shark Attitudes. I don't know anybody who still flies Fat Sharks. All right. Let me jump over to here. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, because look, there hasn't been too many sort of crazy releases or anything like that. There's been a ton of rain. I haven't been able to do much testing, and even the postage just slowed down a little bit when I look at new products that are coming out. There hasn't been too much difference between this week and also last week, but I do want to mention, how do you choose the best KV for your build? If you're going to be choosing a motor, you don't know what KV to get, you don't know what sort of size to put on your drone as well, this is what's going to help you. KV, it sort of stands for, there's two differences, because capital K and lowercase v, or like the reverse of that, actually mean two different things, but we're going to be talking about kilovolt. So you'll see a lot of motors which look like this. I can show you actually some. And my website, more handy than ever. So let's have a look right here. Let's pretend we're going to be building a 5-inch, and we'll go in stock. So we get some relevant motors like these Ecos right here. Probably a very, very common choice of motors. Really cheap, like $13. This we have, they come in a couple of different variations. So we can be able to, okay, 1900 kV or 1700 kV or 2400 kV right there. So the way to choose that, it basically means per volt that you apply to this is how many revolutions per minute it does. And the higher the kV, the faster your motor is going to want to spin. Now, why can't we just choose, if you want the fastest drone in the world, why can't you just choose the highest kV and run as many volts through it as possible? Well, the answer is because you're going to burn your motor out. You're going to come across some resistances. You cannot just keep pumping more and more volts or more and more energy into a system and expect exponential or at least a linear growth in power or in terms of output, because you're going to come across inefficiencies. And also there's something that happens, like a motor, once it gets to a limit and it can't spin any faster and you put more juice in there, it's going to result in just more heat buildup, and it's not actually going to be able to turn as fast and it's going to cook itself. So this is a big problem that I see a lot of people when they're deciding what to get. And I'm going to give you a little tip in just a little bit on sort of some ideas, but I just want to get some of the understanding first. If you have right here, so we're going to use this motor, for example. This is probably, do they have any ones with the KV on here that would make it, okay, 2400 KV. When this motor is at its peak and it's like it's screaming along, it's going to be having, how can I explain this in a simple way? This motor right here, 2400 kV, it's going to give you an X amount of thrust, and then any extra energy you put into that is going to burn out. Now, why is that going to happen? Why can't it just keep continually spinning forever? Because you've got a big heavy prop on here, and think about it like if you have ever had a motor and you held it in your hand, or you've tried to, where's an example? Like I know when I'm using like my circular saw sometimes, and I'm like trying to rip a piece of wood or something like that, and my blade's not sharp, and the more and more like you can sort of hear it slowing down, and that's not good. It's going to be cooking the motor in here because it's not able to turn, and you're just going to burn your motor out. So please don't do that. And there's a couple of ways you can reduce that burnout. Number one, you need to make sure that your prop is matched to your motor. And number two, you need to worry about the weight of your craft you're actually flying as well. So this right here, a 2400 kV, that is going to be suited. And if you look at the size of the motor as well, so this is a 2306 motor, this is probably going to be suited to a 5-inch tri-blade, which means this motor is big enough to be able to spin that prop relatively efficiently, like without too much burnout, at around this max speed right here, or at the correct KV or correct RPM. Now, if you put a larger prop on here, and let's say you doubled it and you went, I want to go twice as fast, I'm going to put the same amount of energy into my craft, but I'm going to put on a big 10-inch blade on here. This is going to struggle because it's going to be turning. It wants to go as fast as it was before, but because you've got that big blade on here and it's pushing so much area, there's so much more drag there, it just cannot do that. And if that motor can't spin as fast as it wants to do, that energy has to go somewhere. And if it's not coming out as thrust, it's just going to come out as heat, and it's going to cook itself. So that is a big problem that I see a lot of people. They think, well, I can just go faster by putting a bigger propeller on here, or I can put more juice or more voltage into your craft. They are all spec'd for different purposes, and that's just a surefire way. Unless you know what you're doing or you follow sort of standard practices, it doesn't work like that in reality. There is hard limits on the amount of thrust you can get out from a motor. Now, a good little tip is to probably, generally, if we look at 5-inch craft and have a look at some other craft as well. So if we have a look at some, I bet you if we have a look at some bind and flies, we have done a lot of flying in the past, and you'll be able to see a lot of these craft. Like let's find a 5-inch. Let's see, this looks great. Okay, we've got a 6S system, Nazgul, very popular drone. Let's have a look. We'll have a look at Rotor Village. I'm going to guess that this is, error. Okay, not found. That's because I am shipping from Australia. Let's have a look at, okay, this right here. I bet you we can find the KV of this because it's a 6S. It's probably about 1900, between 1700 to 1950 KV. Let's see if we can find that in the specs. Oh, look at this. What did I say? There we go. So we have an 1800 KV motor. So that's why it's up to 6S. If this was a 4-inch craft, you're probably looking at, a 4S craft, you're probably looking at a higher KV. So probably up around the 2300 or something like that as well. So I don't know, that would be my advice on how to pick a motor. Look at what other options people have in terms of like their bind and flies. You can come over here and look at all the different bind and flies we've got on DIYFPV. Choose, like this would be a great example here, the little Lightning. Have a look at what it has, and I would probably try to emulate that. You're not going to create some new scientific breakthrough trying to put either more energy into a motor or bigger props that aren't supposed to be on there. Or if you want to go the other way, if you put smaller props than what it's used to, then it's just wasted potential on the end of your motor. It's spinning around, but it's not really producing too much thrust. So you're not going to reinvent the wheel. You're not going to come up with any crazy scientific discoveries unless you're like a fluid dynamics expert that understands a whole bunch of things. For a $12 motor and what we have on the market today, just use what we have. And as a basic bit of a guideline, 4S is going to have a higher KV than the the higher the voltage, the lower kV that you're going to require to get similar amounts of thrust. So, 6S, you're going to be using 1900 kV, 1800, even down to 1700. 4S, you might be going like 23, 2400 kV. And the other part as well, the smaller the propeller, usually the higher kV that we're going to get as well. So I know like a 4-inch or how much, let's have a look. What is the kV of these little craft? $10,000 kV. And that is because it is simply a smaller motor. It needs to spin a lot faster as well. But they can do that because that little 2-inch blade isn't providing nearly as much drag or resistance on there. So there we go. So low kV has more torque. Well, I don't know about that. It's just that a lower kV is getting, but you're running more volts through it. So I guess volt for volt, I'm not too sure. I don't want to misspeak here and be quoted as that. So I'll have to do a bit of research and come back to that in terms of torque. Every day with Bruno saying I still want to put these 2400 kVs on a 3.5-inch 2004s. Yeah, that's going to be way too big there, Bruno, and also a little bit heavy as well, and also too much weight on your craft. The more you add there, the more resistance it's going to have to do as well. It's going to make it even harder. As your quad is trying to punch through the air, it's got to lift even more as well. Too much power is what fries motors. You can absolutely run a 4S motor on a 6S Lipo. You just need to reduce the motor limit. So there we go. So that is a little bit more technical way, but you can run a 4S motor, but you're not giving it all the juice of a 6S battery. So you're sort of limiting it like that as well. And you absolutely can fly. And I've done this in the past for a little bit of testing. I've had some 6S craft that then I can run on a 4S battery as well. So you've got to give it more juice. You've got to like pump the throttle a lot more, but a lot of times if I need to test some things, that's one way to do it as well. Jacob Reeve is saying, I believe more kV is more torque, but it's the capability of getting to RPM. I don't want to comment on the torque situation right here because I too am just an everyday dude like you guys who likes to fly around in the field with my friends. The only difference is I point a camera at what I'm doing and film it to share it with you guys. I am definitely not an engineer or anything like that. I'm a school teacher, or I used to be a school teacher for like a decade. If that was my profession that I did before I did drones. Everyday with Bruno saying, I know, I just hate I got the wrong thing. Yeah, did you order those? Chris Croft, I saw a guy post, he was flying a 6S 1300 milliamp on a 2.5-inch quad. He thought it was fine. Yeah, that's a terrible. Okay, that's not too good. Oh, did you sell your radio, Chris? I saw you said you put something up there. Please let me know. Did you get contacted about that on DIYFPV? The tariff stuff got me messed up. Yeah, the tariffs aren't very good for people wanting to buy new things, and that's part of the reason why we did DIYFPV as well. Just to sort of this was never the plan. Can I just say? It was never the plan to have part of our catalog to have things selling for secondhand, but then looking at the tariffs and realizing, oh, this kind of does just make sense. Like if you want to buy this right here, this would be crazy expensive. But we've got one right here. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to really help a lot of people out there. Lower kV equals higher torque. That's from Reedy FPV. Thank you very much for that. And Chris is saying he sold it on Facebook. There we go. Now, moving on, I would like to just quickly, there's two more things that I want to talk about before I go downstairs, and I have to put this VTOL together, actually. I would like to talk about the importance of flying with others, and like one of the best things about our hobby is the social aspect of it. Now, I am a big believer of improving people's lives through FPV. I know we talk about it all the time, but here is a little bit of truth that I'm not saying I'm old, but this is something that I have recognized, and it's, when I see my wife catch up and she's talking to her friends, they can like have a cup of coffee, right? And they can just like talk about things. I don't know how they do that, but they can happily talk about their feelings or whatever they're doing. I don't know. Like blokes are not good at that, like that face-to-face staring at somebody and just talking about things. But I believe that blokes are really good at like side-by-side or shoulder-to-shoulder communication. So whether you're going out fishing And then when, you're both focused on a task, looking out at the ocean, trying to catch some fish, or in my case, just watching them all get away. And then, Stickman Steve might be there and he's talking about whatever's going on in his life. And I'm talking about whatever's going on in my life. While we're focused on some other task. And FPV is another great reason and another great activity that seems to be blokes can do. A lot of people who get into drones, they're really good on the hobby side of things and like building, but FPV is amazing because you're going to get out to other places, you're going to explore, you're going to learn these new skills. It is so much fun to fly. And then when you make friends and fly with other people, it really does just take it to that next level. Like the greatest friendships in my life, a lot of them have come through FPV. Those people know who they are, the people that have truly made massive impacts on my life. And whether that be friends for lifetimes or friends for the right time, there has been so many positive relationships that I've had with FPV. And those things wouldn't happen if I was just staring at someone over a cup of coffee. It has really come just like through flying these crazy little flying robots through the sky. Like it's a huge motivator for me to share that with other people. I would really like to stress, if you're a pilot out there and you are flying by yourself, FPV is exponentially better when you fly with other people. You have someone to share your passion with, and it's also just sort of like breaks that little social barrier of that we as blokes are not good at. Like we cannot stand there looking at someone in the face and talking about our life. But if you are flying, it just sort of flows a lot better. So that's my my little bit of advice right there that I would like to give. The importance of flying with other people, it is right up there. Like, do not underestimate it. And if you have the opportunity to reach out, if you have the opportunity to go to a local race meet, go and do that. If there's an FPV event or you see someone posting something, go check it out because it is so much fun. And that is another reason why, if we look over here on the map, like, send some messages to some of these people. If you haven't made an account here, like there's thousands upon thousands of pilots on DIYFPV's map where you can just reach out, and you never know where someone else might be looking for that sort of person to fly with as well. And then also you get a spotter. It's safer. You got some other people. Maybe your drone's stuck at the top of a tree. Guess what? You can have someone watch that drone while you run to the hardware shop to get a ladder, or you go get some rope, or whatever it's going to be. Just FPV is better with friends, right? So that's something I wanted to mention. Chris is saying, I would like to come out and fly with you and Steve one day. So that's from Chris Croft. Yeah, we might have to fly. We've got a place we call Whoop Heaven. We've done some flights there before. Absolutely. This rain has been very annoying. 100%. Let's see. Caddx, new product. I'm just catching up on your chat. And other people still talking about torque and those sorts of things on the motors. I can see big shout out to Mike as well. He's saying, what's up, brother? Giving me a little bit of love right there. I guess. And then I want to make one last thing before we disappear downstairs. Just a bit of a reminder, what we just recently launched here, Speed Cubes. If we have a look, we just sort of released a secondhand marketplace for people wanting to buy and sell things secondhand. Say, oh, look, someone else has also meant this is new. But yeah, if you want to buy something secondhand, not only now when you find a product on DIYFPV, can you find out what stores it's from, you can also find out if there's a secondhand seller online as well. So pretty cool stuff right there. All right, moving on. I can't believe I have to make this video. I saw this Reddit post the other day and it just completely baffled my mind because it's not the first time that I've seen this. And I hope it will be the last though. So where are we? This post right here. It says, I just got this 5 days ago. It's my first 5-inch. I feel like my props keep coming off. What could be going wrong? And I saw another video where someone was flying and they're like, hey, what happened? And I know it seems counterintuitive, but these props, you really need to tighten them down because that's what everybody is saying here. Prop nuts aren't tightened enough. Definitely not tight enough. Hold the motors with your hand. You're tightening them all the way down. And the guy's saying like, no, I swear I've tried. The thing with these nylon, I think I put a response right here. 99% sure you're not screwing these lug nuts down enough. There is a point you can do it freely with your hand. Then it will tighten down so the nylon is holding it. Keep going until you literally cannot do it anymore. You're not going to break these motors when you are trying to tighten these down. This is a good example. It needs to go all the way through the nylon right here. And it will feel like, oh, yeah. If you are new to the hobby, tighten these down like you wouldn't believe. It's going to feel like it's going to break, and then it's going to sort of give a little and like, wow, this doesn't feel right. Keep going through that. Like that is a normal thing. And I can give one specific example to where I was a newcomer in a different hobby. And I was like, is this correct? Was when I was setting my GPU, my CPU in my PC. Everybody said, yeah, you just click it down. It was so like just tight pressing the new CPU into the socket in my motherboard that it felt uncomfortable to sort of clip that down on my, I think it's like an AMD CPU. It felt uncomfortable to do that because I wasn't used to it. That thing was like, I don't know, $500 or $600. You're talking about like an $11 motor here. Tighten this down. It's going to be absolutely fine. So if your prop is flying off and you don't know why, and you're a new pilot, 99% chance you are just not tightening it down enough. Now, there's two things that could be changing. Number one, you could have sometimes if the bell is flying off, that means underneath your motor, there is a little like a C-clip that the entire bell will be coming off the top of your motor. So that's what's happening. Or the other part, if you see you can get the wrong nuts for this. So the top of this, you can get some low profile nuts as well, where if the top of the shaft isn't coming through, this is sounding very inappropriate. If the top of the shaft isn't coming through the nuts, get a lower profile one, please, because that's gonna make the difference where the nylon can actually do its job and lock down. Now, some people are going to say, oh, what about counterclockwise and that sort of stuff? Let me tell you, if you have some well-tightened nuts on your shaft, it's not going to, regardless if it's clockwise or counterclockwise, it's not going to fly off. It's going to be fine. So anyway, I would just like to make that little video. I can't believe that I actually have to do that in this day and age, because it's not the first time. I saw a video probably last week as well where someone was flying around. Now, before we disappear, I want to say too, if you've got any questions, now is the time to put them in the chat, or jumping over here. This is something that I should have been doing more frequently as well. And I know I'm spruiking my website quite a bit because I really truly believe this is going to be one of the future pinnacles of our hobby. If I look at beginner questions and you ever have something that you would like me to answer on the stream, this would be a great place to get it. So this one from this person right here, I don't know how to pronounce this. And if you've sent me a message too about like the goggles, I will respond. I've clicked through them all. I haven't sold those $1 Sky Zones yet, but it will be happening. I just haven't responded to anybody because there was like 100 messages to go through or something. So I want to take the time to say thanks to those people and respond to somebody. All right. Is the Box Goggle Pro worth the price for a price to fly a whoop and maybe upgrade it in the future? Do you guys have analog or digital goggles, and which should I get as a beginner? Now, let's have a look here for the Box Pros. Why is that not coming up? Do I have to do HD? Is that one word? If I could spell correctly. Box Pro. Okay, one word. We're going to have a look at Phaser. Shout out to Phaser, an Aussie store that's been around for a long time. Would I recommend these? And if we look at the original question, which was... Can I just go back? Yes. Is it worth it to fly a whoop and maybe upgrade in the future? And the real answer right there is maybe upgrade in the future. If you want to upgrade, yes. Are you going to races? Well, you probably want to move up to HD0 in the future. What I would recommend though, for $600, that's a lot of cash just to fly a whoop. So if you want to fly a whoop and you want to upgrade the whoop in the future, yes, this is really the only option that you have. If, however, you want to fly other craft that are not just whoops, then you need to sort of look at this from a different point of view. If it was me, I would probably be getting a cheaper pair of box goggles or a cheaper pair of analog goggles just to fly whoops, and I can still go and do races with that and be completely competitive. And then on the flip side, it depends what sort of flying you like to do. If you want to do some 5-inch freestyle or go for some cruising or just having a bit of fun in the park, then you've got those other options in terms of digital. Yes, this goggle will do both. It's just up to you, like what you want to get. So how much is the N3s? Let's have a look here. We're gonna answer this specifically. Let's see. Is my computer frozen? What is going on here? Oh, you need, sorry, I think you need 3 letters before it won't search unless you type at least 3 things in there. So right here, we've got, okay, let's say $350 plus, how much do we have to spend? This is 600. Okay, 350, which means we could have a DJI set, and then we have $250 to spend on an analog set of goggles. We go here. Let's have a look for 250. I mean, you could get the Cobras, which are probably right up there with almost as good as they can get in terms of box goggles. 250, 250. Let's limit this. Okay. All right. Okay. So right here, now this is just with a standard receiver that you could upgrade. We've got some for, that's American. Okay, let me change this to, all right, probably just out. So if you bought this, we're looking at 300 plus, so we got 650 versus 600. So for $50 difference, you can either have a pair of, and you let me know in the chat, what would you get? I am purely trying to answer this beginner question that we've got right here. Would you get N3s and some Sky Zone Cobras, or would you get the HD Zero box goggles? Now, there is a $50 price difference if you're going to be getting this. For me, I like a lot of different craft, not just whoops. It makes sense. I would prefer a digital option as well as an analog option. But if you are only flying whoops, I feel like there is a bit of a case to go with the HD Zero. You just, I don't know, if you're only ever going to fly whoops, then you don't need those, you're not going to be able to put those big, beautiful systems anyway in, like, because they need like a 5-inch craft in there. You're never going to get like DJI quality in a whoop. I don't care what anyone says. It's just not the same. You can't beat the HD Zero all-in-one board for a 65mm whoop. Someone's saying shoot FPV, regular flyer DJI racing HD Zero. The N3s for me. I feel like HD Zero are kind of pricing themselves out of the market. That's from Chris Croft. I think he's just switched over from, is this correct, Chris? You've switched over from HD Zero to DJI? Yeah, they're your 2 options. So that's my recommendation for this person right here. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry. I don't want to mispronounce it as well. Get a cheap analog set and a cheap digital set, because then you're going to have the best of both worlds. Or if you get the HD Zero Pros, you're going to have a great goggle for whoops, and you can upgrade for those whoops in the future if you want to go digital, but it's not going to get some of the benefits in terms of image quality that the others have. Yeah, Juicy's saying whoop equals HD Zero. I have 10 analog rigs, HD Zero for me. Yep. Here's my thing for everyday with Bruno as well. So what would make you go to HD Zero then that you can't already do with your analog? If you already have 10 analog rigs, you're probably already going to have 10. You're going to have a pair of analog goggles. Let's see. I have all HD Zero and DJI, anything but a 65 whoop. I want the DJI. And Chris Croft, I still have HD Zero on existing quads. Most likely all new ones will be DJI. Let's see. I don't know about discharging batteries. Now I'm waiting on a GEP RC 1S charger. Okay, I can answer that for sure. So here's a question from Matthew. He would like to know about discharging batteries, why he's waiting on his GEP RC 1S charger. Now, why do we discharge batteries? What should you also fly them down to? A little bit of a lipo care segment right here. If you are flying around you need to bring your batteries in at above recommended is 3.3 volts per cell. Anything after that, you have the potential to damage your batteries, and it reduces the lifetime of your battery as well. Good battery care, you're going to bring them in before that. And depending on how fast you charge them can also affect the lifetime of the battery as well. Batteries are really good at discharging, not so good at reversing that situation and putting energy back into them. So that can deteriorate them as well. Now, in terms of discharging safely, one way that you can do that is you can get one of these. Let's see. A lot of, let's have a look at all products. A lot of, here we go. Like something like this is pretty cheap as well. A lot of chargers you can also set to discharge, or what I quite like is some of these little plugs you simply plug onto the back of your battery and it will discharge down to the safe level by using the LED. And then once that LED, once you've reached that voltage range, then it's going to turn off. Now, there is a difference between discharging and also storage charge. So if you would like to put your batteries into storage charge, a typical Lipo is 3.8 volts per cell. And that is if you're going to be putting them away for hibernation or anything like that. And the reason that you do that is because over time, batteries don't like to stay really, really full or really, really empty. You want to keep them in that nice middle ground. 3.8 volts per cell is a fantastic storage charge. And if you're putting them away for a long time, I'm talking like a month plus or a couple of weeks where you're not going to be using them, here's a great little UAVFutures tip. Put them in a big casserole dish, put them in the oven. Because if anything ever goes wrong, this is anyone ever going on holidays, regardless of what voltage your batteries are. If you are disappearing for a little while and you're feeling uncomfortable about your batteries, the safest place you can put them is, in my opinion, inside the oven. So even if it catches on fire, it's going to be totally fine. Like I know my oven, it can go up to 600 degrees Celsius. It has like a, I wish I could, like some setting that basically turns everything to ash inside it. So it makes it really, really easy to clean. That means if those lipos are going to catch on fire, they're not going to get anywhere near that. It's going to be a safe way to contain that. Now, in terms of discharging a 1S pack, and you said you're waiting for your 1S charger, UAVFPV 1S charger right here, Matt. My advice with little batteries as well is, and this isn't safety advice, this is just like what I would tell my friends, treat those batteries with less longevity in mind because they are so cheap to replace. Fly them down. You don't need to bring them in and worry, did I go below 3.3 volts per 3.3 volts because it's a 1S pack? No, I absolutely trashed this battery. I flew it till it fell out of the sky and it only had 2.9 volts left. It's not going to be good for the battery, but you're going to get a little bit more flight time. They're so cheap to replace anyway, and then you can go and dispose of them safely. That would be my advice when you're flying around those little 1S ones. Don't worry about putting your 1S packs into storage charge or anything like that. I wouldn't be doing that. Don't leave them fully charged for a long time. If you want to discharge them a little bit, just throw them on your tiny whoop and go for like a couple. It's like what, 3 minutes or 2 minutes flat out to discharge a battery on a whoop. So yeah, discharge them, have some fun while doing it, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Now, it is different if you've got a lot more to do and you might be going away. And I'm not saying that everybody can afford tons and tons of $5 batteries or $4 batteries, like whatever. How much is a 1S battery? Let's have a look. Probably like $4, right? That's a 1,500. So that's a 5-pack. So that's about $10 each. Let's see. I want a 300 milliamp. A tattoo. Okay, so yeah, about $6. When it's $6 Australian, or what have we got? 5 to 9, about maybe $4 American, $3.80 or something like that American for a battery. I'm not saying that's not nothing. It's definitely a small cost of our hobby, but I wouldn't sweat it too much. Like we've got our members here, so shout out to Bruno and the other people watching as well. They could have one extra Lipo of these per month, but they've decided to become members. And shout out to my patrons as well. So I'm going to say a thumbs up to those gentlemen. Don't sweat the 1S packs. If it's a more expensive pack like this, yes, the more expensive your battery is, the more you should think, oh, I want to take care of that. And also the larger the battery, the more potential energy there is there as well that can have a mistake and have some dire consequences as well. Treat batteries with respect. Treat 1S batteries still with respect, but I don't worry about their life longevity as much. Someone's saying if you use a metal can, make sure you vent it. You don't want something that's going to explode. Yeah, absolutely. If you're putting them in an ammo can, don't seal the lid down. You want to let that pressure out. 1S packs are awesome if you put them into storage charge. That's the Vi-Fly Whoopster, so that's what Chris Croft is saying. I honestly couldn't care less about the I'm never going to put my 1S packs into storage charge. Someone's saying I keep mine in the fireplace. Yeah, anywhere that is meant to have fire and explosive temperatures, that's always a good place to have them. When I was a school teacher, one of the kids got a pretty nasty shock one time because they were charging a Lipo for an RC car. They didn't know that I was starting in drones, but it basically burnt the kid's room out. Like his room caught on fire. Thankfully, they were able to put it out. But yeah, very sketchy stuff. But the parents had no idea. It was just like a cheap charger kit that they got from like Walmart, and it had a battery and a Lipo in there, and it caught fire. So yeah. Okie dokie. I want to say, other than that, hopefully you like the stream. I'm hoping that this rain will stop. Like, it is stopped right now, but there is so much water outside. It's a little bit sketchy to go flying. As soon as you crash, unless you've waterproofed your drone, you're not going to be having a good time. Going to hopefully meet up with Mystery J as well. Rip some packs. That's what I'd like to do. Catch up with Stickman Steve before he disappears for work for a little while. See what he thinks about this VTOL. And finally, the part that is really important. It is to you guys out there. Sometimes life can be tough and you're not feeling your right self. And I would like to let you know that one person, and I know we talk about it each week, but it could be you, that you are hearing this. And it is Stu talking to me, because I am. And I would like to let you know that you are valued, you are cared about. And even though I'm on the other side of the planet, on the other side of this screen, I would like to let you know that you are valued, you are special, you are unique. And I truly want to say thanks for being here. And I don't want anybody to feel like they are alone and they have to suffer by themselves. We have an amazing hobby. We have an amazing community. And it's not weak to reach out and speak and talk to other people. And if that is you, if you are the one person today that this reaches, no matter where you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you're going through, I want you to know that you're not alone and you really are cared about. So I want to say thank you. All right. On that, I'm going to say subscribe for more FPV related content. I'm going to go get back to some other drone work. I do have to answer a bunch of emails as well. If you sent me something on DIYFPV, I will respond about those $1 Sky Zones. Don't worry. And please make sure if you've got some secondhand gear, put it up on the listings, all that sort of stuff. This might be my chance too to say, you know what? If you like my content, if you're here week in, week out, shout out to my members. You're like, I am going to subscribe to Stuart's channel, and I'm also going to become a member. That should be down there as well. We have some bonus content for you guys as well. So if you want to become a member today, not only do you get to help me make this content right here that you are watching to build websites like this, so you can see, just trying to help the community. This is all free for everybody. There is no fees. Look, where's the ads on here? There is no ads. This is purely done for passion, and your support does help that as well. So today also might be the day when you go, yeah, I will sign up, Stu, and I will help you. I think it's like $2 or $2.99 a month or something like that. So not only do you help this, you also get some bonus content over on my channel. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content. You guys are absolutely incredible. Have a fantastic week. And as always, happy flying.